Welcome back, guys, after a long time. Yeah, it's been a while since I uploaded my last video, but I'll try to upload more frequently from now onwards. Sometimes this happens because I work in a VFX industry as a VFX composer, and most of the time we work with deadlines. But no need to worry, guys, from now on, video will come more frequently. So, again, we are using digital medium and sketching illustration. If you guys checked my previous videos, then you guys know about my process. We are going to do similar kind of process here, but different art, different concept. So step 1, pencil sketching. This is my second step actually. First step I already did, which I drew some thumbnails. Thumbnails are actually small quick sketches used to explore ideas before making the final artwork. So so before moving to digital, I always draw my ideas on paper because every artwork starts with a single idea, a random thought, a feeling, sometimes just a mood, and you don't get that much of time to start your computer or iPad, then start your software, then draw your ideas. You need to react spontaneous, and it is more practical and fast way to draw mini thumbnails on paper. And after drawing few thumbnails, it's time to decide one of them. And I finalized this current post to turn my idea into full concept illustration. My pencil sketch is almost done. This is my base of the illustration, and I'm not thinking too much to add details on it or make it more aesthetic. At this stage, I'm happy to just draw my idea which looks visually good. Now I'll scan it and import it to Procreate, where I'll improve my sketch and do inking and then finalizing with color. So before importing pencil sketch into Procreate, we need to set the size of canvas. So I'm setting the dimension here using standard A3 paper size, which is 11.7 inches into 16.5 inches. And I'm also setting my color profile into CMYK. You need to decide these things at start. You can use RGB also, but because I want to print this artwork and avoid color changes during printing time, that's why I have decided to go with CMYK. If your artwork is only for digital showcase like YouTube, Instagram, ArtStation websites, then you can go with RGB. And if you want to print it as well, then go for CMYK. As I mentioned earlier, I wasn't adding too many details in the pencil sketch. So now is the time where I'm start adding details and finalizing my pencil sketch or penciling. I'm doing digitally here, and this step can be done in both ways, digitally or traditionally. So let me talk about my concept here. What I actually wanted to draw. There is a word in Hindi called Vairagi. So all my concept here to draw Vairagi. A Vairagi is generally a man who has detached himself from the illusion of the world. But he was not born this way once he had dreams, a family, ambition, the hunger to become something greater. So, in this way, just using a single word, you can draw your ideas and you can go further. You can build a story behind your concept. Like, I can easily build a story on this guy, Vairagi, and this story helps to connect more. Suppose I want to tell you a story on this guy. This guy achieved many things. He chased money, respect, power, believing peace was waiting at the end of the achievement. But the more he gained, the more empty he becomes. The world never stopped asking more success, more status, more validation. And in that endless noise, he had completely lost himself. So one morning he walked away not because he hated the world but because he wanted to understand it. So in this way you can write a story, a complete story, a comic book, anything you can do just with this one character. So my penciling is done. Now time to do inking. I usually do inking in Procreate. There is a specific set of brushes available in Procreate under Pens tab, or you can check the Inks tab as well. And one thing I learned over the time is that perfectly clean lines are not always the goal. Sometimes broken lines, rough edges, and imperfection add more life and energy. So line weight is also extremely very important. And to be fair, I'm still learning this art. And the only way is to learn is to draw more and more. Most people think coloring is the most important part of an art, but honestly, a good ink drawing works even without color. That's why many comic artists and concept artists spend years mastering line control and shape languages. The hairs looks a bit messy, so not to confuse, just focus on the bigger shapes, inking one bunch of hair at a time. I'm trying to add more weight, more broader strokes where I feel it's needed. I'm also considering from where the light source is, so the other part I'm adding more weight. Suddenly I realize his body looks very empty and we can make it little more interesting. So I'm trying to add some Rudraksh malas. We can't add here golden or silver jewelry because the concept of Vairagi won't allow to make him feel rich. So I'm happy with my inking. I'm not going so deep part by part. This is the basic inking. We can spend more time to show more details, but drawing, inking, coloring, and then editing, that takes too much time for me. So I'm happy to make my artwork little less detailed because I'm showing from scratch to final. It takes a long time to complete the artwork. And if I start working on every detail of the process, then a single video would end up being as long as movie, and I don't think people will watch them. After the inking, I quickly added the flat color, and every part of a character I am keeping in different layers so that I get more control while coloring. Now I'll move to my final part, coloring, finalizing my artwork. So every topic itself a huge subject and I can't show everything in 20-30 minutes, but I have a plan to show you everything whatever I know in future videos, and for that you need to keep watching my videos. So I have decided my light comes from screen left side. Now I have to decide where I keep my shadows and highlights. So make it simple. You need to understand what is color. Color is what? It is just a lighting and shading. As an artist, you have to decide where the light hits and where the shadow creates. That's the only thing you have to work on. Sketching builds the foundation and inking defines the structure, but color are what create emotion, mood. So you can see I am creating and erasing back and forth because you are observing the light. You are not referring any specific image. You are doing a concept art and it requires a lot of imagination and observation. So again, whatever you wanted to say through your artwork, you have to reflect it through your color as well. It means simple. My character here is in spiritual journey. So I wanted to show correct color harmony. And as always I say, this is not necessary to go with the basic rule. You can break the rule anytime, but before breaking it, you should know about the rules. That's why always start with basic rules like to show power and emotion, use warmer colors. And to create silence, mystery, loneliness, use cooler colors. Here in this artwork, my color palette is mostly cooler. But I wanted to show some power, some emotion going in his mind. And for that I will use warmer highlights and I will try to make a balance between both colors. I'm adding blue rim light. This looks cinematically good, that's why I always used to do these things. So basic lighting setup have 3 light sources. One is key light, fill light and then backlight or rim light. So according to this I am trying to add the lights. Now I'm adding mid-tones, or you can say adding more in between tonal values between my shadow and highlight. Generally we do more layers of tonal value to add more depth and to show the artwork more interesting. And this painting is called blocking. I usually do this blocking thing only. You can go further where you mix all the color and then it looks soft and more realistic. And in the same way I'm adding more tonal value just to show more depth, more drama. So I have the control of everything, every color, every layer. That's why I'm able to change the color anytime which I feel it's not working. You can see how many tonal values I used here, total 6 and one blue light, rim light. In the same way, I'll complete all the parts I'm showing in time lapse. Generally I keep switching between time lapse and real time footage in my videos because the full process usually takes around 7 to 10 hours of recording, so showing everything in real time isn't possible. I was a bit stuck in the background, so for now I am not showing any scene behind my character. Just an abstract background which also looks cool, I guess. Tell me your thoughts in the comment, guys, whether you like this or not, and give me a favor by liking this video and subscribe it for future video. Thank you.